Welcome to How to Be a Couple with me, your host, Giuliano Gramado. The fastest way to kill a relationship is trying to drag it backward. Let me explain. So many people look back on when they first got together, and that is like the pinnacle of their relationship, right? They look back and they think, oh man, it was so perfect. We were so in love. And, this could be, when you first started dating, or if you've been married for a while, it might be, when you first got married, what everyone calls the honeymoon phase. And it's understandable, right? A lot of people look back on that time period and they see it as, like I said, this like the pinnacle of what their relationship, what has been and what it could be. And the reason for this is pretty interesting. Okay. So, like, people, well, first of all, this is just like a natural thing in life, right? When you're in the middle of something, it's different than afterwards, right? We tend to look back on things that we've experienced in our life with rose colored glasses, right? With nostalgia. And that's totally fine. What's happening there is that, like, your current relationship, when people do this, their current relationship is not where they want it to be. And because of that, they're thinking to, is it possible to be in that place that I want to be? And they think, oh yeah, it is possible because we've been there. And so naturally you think, oh man, I wish we could go back. And by doing this, what you have to understand is that, like, the only way to actually improve your relationship is by being the best partner that you can be right now. Right. And we think that it's these external things, right? It's something else, it's something outside of us that is affecting the quality of our relationship, either in a negative way or a positive way, right? So we think, oh man, we look back to when it was good and it was like, oh man, it was good because we were new to each other, and it was good because of this situation, or because we lived in this place, or because we didn't have kids yet, or whatever other external factor, right? And so we think, oh, if we can just recreate somehow that's those external factors, we can have a better relationship. But that's part of what the issue is here, is not understanding that the quality of your relationship is up to you. It is not up to the things that are happening around you or happening to you and your relationship. Okay. So what this means is that, first of all, what I want you to understand is that there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel that way. Okay, the way that you felt when you first met, the way that you felt in the honeymoon phase, there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to feel that way. And I would actually argue, which I think a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I would argue that you can have that feeling forever. And I don't mean, 100% every single day, no matter what. I'm not saying that. What I mean is that you can have those honeymoon feelings consistently throughout the length of your relationship. And it's not by going backwards. That is like the big thing that I need you to understand, is that it is not about going backwards. If anything, it's about being present right now. And let me explain this a little bit. When it comes to the honeymoon phase, right? There's definitely some scientific stuff about this, about like what causes the honeymoon phase, what makes people feel that way. And there's like certain chemicals and all these things. But my theory on it is that ultimately, when you are in that phase of the relationship, well, there's a couple things, right? First of all, you are putting your best foot forward and you're constantly thinking about the other person and what you can do to make them feel special, to make them feel loved, right? And you do all of those things. And as the relationship goes on and you become more comfortable with each other and things aren't as new and you aren't trying to do those things, it tends to wear off. And I know that, like I said, there's a more like scientific explanation for this, but in reality, it is simply like when you are feeling loved, when you have like this overwhelming feeling of love, um, you show up different. And I'm not saying you, I'm saying like your partner as an example, right? Your partner shows up as like the best version of themselves. And here's what's really interesting. I think a lot of people will notice this too, is that like you can tell when someone is in that phase of the relationship, even when they're not with their partner. Right. If you're interacting with them on their own, it's like they just seem happier. Everything seems so carefree. Everything seems so light. And it's like, well, yeah. But my point is that it's not just the relationship that's causing that. It is them as an individual, their state, the way that they feel. So, what that means is that you can get yourself back into that state and you can get your partner back into that state. So, a couple things here, right? I've talked about this before. your the quality of your relationship is equal to your own personal growth. Okay. And when you're happier as a person, when you're more carefree, when you're less judgmental, all those things that will translate into your relationship. But when it comes to that honeymoon feeling, right, that overwhelming love that you're just like, oh my gosh, I just love you so much and everything feels great. People don't always get there, right? Like you can feel like, oh man, I always feel really, I'm self confident, I'm self assured, I'm independent, but I love my partner, I care for them, and your relationship can be really good in that way. But sometimes you're like, oh, but I don't have that feeling, right? That like, that just, that honeymoon feeling, right? There's no other way to put it. It's just like this overwhelming sense of love and everything just feels light and happy. So the way that you create this is by making your partner feel loved. Okay. So again, if we rewind back to when you were in that phase in your relationship, that's essentially what it was. You were pouring love onto this person from every direction, right? Every way you could think of. You were getting them gifts. You were telling them how much you love them. You were telling them things that you loved about them. You were spending all of your free time with them, all of these things. And if you've heard me talk about love languages before, it's like essentially you were like speaking every love language at this person at the same time. And they felt so loved. And by feeling that way, like the way that you can imagine it is like your partner is a cup. And every time you express love to them in one of these different ways, you're like pouring into that cup. And eventually, if you just keep doing that constantly over and over again, the cup is overflowing, right? You're putting this like love, which is the water in there, and eventually it's just overflowing with love. And that's essentially what the honeymoon phase is. It's and it's not to be confused with love bombing, okay? Because love bombing is honestly, I would actually argue love bombing is very, very similar to this, but with bad intentions, okay? And it's like with the intention of making the person feel that way, so that you can do something nefarious or right whatever your intentions might be. um with this, you're doing it on purpose because you love the person, right? Because you want them to feel this way. And as you do this, here's what's really interesting is the more that you do this with your partner, the happier they will be, the more in love they will show up. But then they reciprocate it. Now you can't be doing it with that expectation. Like, oh well, I want to feel this way, so I'm gonna make my partner feel that way so that they can make me feel this way. No, that's not how it works. Okay. It's just like everything else that I've talked about in the past, where it's like you're content, right? Like you're happy. It's like it's like the independence thing, but also caring for your partner. Like I'm responsible for my emotions, but it feels great when my partner contributes to them. It's the same thing here, right? Like I want to make my partner feel loved, and yeah, if they do it back to me, great, that's fantastic. But if not, it's okay. I just want to make them feel that way, and naturally, the other person will as well. So what do you do about this, right? If you want to make your partner feel loved, this is what I talk about all the time is love languages. I know that, some people don't take them seriously and they've turned into a meme, but when you put the effort in to make your partner feel loved, that is the result. They feel loved, and someone who feels loved and is overflowing with love shows up differently. And if you do that, you can recreate this honeymoon feeling in your relationship. But this isn't artificial, right? I want to like harp on this. This is not about like trying to manipulate your partner. This is, hey, I love them and I want to make them feel loved. And when you do that, it tends to be reciprocated. It goes back and forth, and you can get back into that phase. And I say back, I'm telling you not to look back, and I'm using the word. The point is that if you have to focus on now, right? It's not about, oh, I'm trying to go back to those same feelings. It's, I appreciate my partner as they are right now. And if I make my partner feel loved and they take steps to make me feel loved, we can feel that way. And it can be like that forever, right? That's the thing that's kind of nuts about this. Like, it's not just something that can be that has to just be experienced, oh, in the beginning of the relationship and it wears off. I can say from my own experience, I've been with my wife for over 8 years now, and I feel this way constantly. Right? We both feel this way. We talk to each other. We're like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you. I appreciate you so much. Our life is so fun. It's so amazing. Right? Like, and that's how you feel at the beginning of the relationship. But we feel like that now. We want to spend all our time with each other. We love talking to each other about things like just like you imagine in the beginning when you're dating or in the honeymoon phase. It is possible to feel that way. Okay. And the way to do it is to focus on making your partner feel loved and on being the best version of yourself in the relationship today, right now. That's what I got for you guys today. If you want personalized relationship coaching, you want to work with me one-on-one, I have a waitlist going to do that. All you have to do is send me a DM that says waitlist at howtobeacouple.co on Instagram. I'll add you to the list and I'll let you know when a slot opens up. In the meantime, remember, you can feel the way that you felt in the honeymoon phase again, but you do so by focusing on being the best partner you can be now and pouring into your partner and doing everything you can to make them feel loved. Talk to you next time.